Hello everyone, and welcome back to Skyrim, but I am just a normal guy. This is part 4, and also the series finale, meaning that by the end of this episode, we will complete the homestead and adopt 2 children, which were the last of the goals that we set out for in episode 1. After getting the lumber at the end of last episode, we returned to the homestead to continue working on the house. I decided to put bedrooms in the west wing and begin making the materials needed to expand the house. After completing the exterior of the bedroom in the west wing, I decided to put a kitchen in the east wing. Since it was getting late, I decided to camp out since I had not actually added beds into the bedroom yet. In the morning, I ate some quick breakfast and packed up the tent. I decided to check out the inside before I headed out for the day. So far, it's mostly just an empty house, but soon it will be a home. I had enough materials to make the double bed, so I decided to put that in so that I would not need to camp out in the front yard ever again. I went outside and checked on the crops, harvesting what I could, and then headed towards Riverwood. While on the way to Riverwood, I decided to stop to spend my morning fishing. I ended up fishing for a good bit of the day and caught many things, both fish and not, in the process.
It's not like my poaching is hurting anyone.
After fishing for a bit, I got lucky and caught an enchanted ring, the Ring of the Wind, which allows you to move 15% faster. This is quite handy for a character that cannot fast travel. I also caught some enchanted iron boots, a troll skull, a steel helmet, and another enchanted ring. This one wasn't directly helpful for me, as this character's not using magic, but it's certainly worth a lot of money. I then continued along my way to Riverwood. Once I arrived in Riverwood, I sold the armor that I found in the river to Alvor to make some money. I also bought as much of his iron as I could. Then I went into the Riverwood Trader to try and sell off the Mentor's ring, but I ended up having to trade a couple of things because he didn't have enough gold to buy the entire thing outright. I then left Riverwood and began traveling back to the Half Moon Mill to buy some more lumber for the house.
guess. Doing some building, eh? I'll have them hauled over right away.
I left the mill and began to follow the waterfront back towards the home. Along the way, I found an elk which I killed and retrieved its pelt and meat, and then finally arrived back at the homestead. I immediately began crafting all of the things that I got while I was out into the materials I needed to build the house. Before long, the exterior of the kitchen was complete, and I began construction on an alchemy tower in the north wing. After that, I went over to the bedroom in order to start adding in the furniture. Then I went to the back room so that I could add in some furniture, including an anvil, so that I could easily craft things like iron fittings and hinges for the process of adding furniture in the house. While I was trying to use the new anvil to make some building materials, I did what every Skyrim decorator hates most, which is accidentally pick up a decorative item, such as a bucket, and then have to struggle to place it back where it was before. Thankfully, this one didn't take too long to get back in place. Next, I went over to the main room to begin adding furniture in there, including a dining room table and chairs. After collecting a little bit more quarried stone, I added a fireplace to the main room. And I added an oven to the kitchen. Finally, I settled in for a good night's rest. The next morning, I headed out for another day of collecting money and resources to continue building the house. But first I decided that I would do a little bit of fishing to hopefully find some more valuable goods to sell.
It's not like my poaching is hurting anyone. The Jarl can hardly eat every deer now, can he? It's not like my poaching is hurting anyone. The Jarl... I've been hunting and fishing in these parts for years.
Unfortunately, this fishing trip did not turn out nearly as successful as the last one. Either way, I continued up the road towards Riverwood. The shops in Riverwood had yet to restock, so I had to head right past Riverwood all the way to Whiterun.
This one need take a look.
After selling what I could to the Khajiit, I headed into the city.
How can I help a brother Nord?
I also found Ysolda and let her know that the house was complete enough for her to move in.
Where?
Owning a farm.
I'll get everything ready and meet you there. Here, this is fresh. I'll have another meal ready tomorrow.
After I let Ysolda know that she could begin moving into our new home, I headed into Arcadia's cauldron to craft as many potions as I could with the ingredients that I had been collecting so that I could sell some of them back to Arcadia herself and any additional ones I would sell back to Belethor.
Come back anytime if you need a rent.
After that, I left Whiterun and headed back to the Half Moon Mill to get some more lumber for the house.
Again, doing some building, eh? I'll have them hold over right away.
I then left Half Moon Mill and headed off to Falkreath in order to do some more trading.
Steel's good. Take a look.
I needed corundium ingots in particular so that I could make more locks. I also used the tanning rack to turn some of the pelts that I had been collecting into fur plates and then fur cloaks in order to sell and make just a little bit more gold.
Can I get you trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing? Be seeing you, stranger.
While I was here, I also went into the local inn to use their alchemy table and make a couple more potions to sell as well. I finally left Falkreath, but I couldn't head home just yet, as I still needed more money and materials to continue improving the home. So I instead embarked on a long journey all the way back to Whiterun. Once I arrived back in Whiterun, I did some good old-fashioned wood chopping in order to make some more money selling the firewood at the inn.
Honest gold for honest
I sold what I had to Hulda and also rented a room for the night.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your...
Early the next morning, I chopped some more wood so that I could make a little money while I was waiting for the shops to open.
Honest gold for honest work.
I don't claim. Looking
I
to
went
protect
down to
yourself,
Adrian at the
or
forge in order to buy some more materials, mainly iron ingots. After collecting all the materials I needed, I hired a carriage to Falkreath so that it would be a shorter walk back home.
There once was a hero named Gregory. Red came right into Whiterun from homestead.
Finally, after spending a long time out collecting materials, I returned home to continue working on the house. Before long, the entire north wing, the alchemy tower, was complete. I went inside to greet Isolde in our new home.
If you don't mind, I'm going to start a small store. Something to do whenever you're on the road.
I added in a second child's chest so that I could adopt 2 children, and added a couple other pieces of furniture around the house as well. Our house was finally becoming a home, and it was time at last to expand our little family. So I headed off to Whiterun to adopt our first child.
Fine. It's since she died. I wound up here. Really? Do you have a place? Oh, wow. Yay!
After adopting Lucia, I headed off to Solitude to adopt Blaise.
I hate it. Everyone feels sorry for me, so they don't treat me too bad, but both my parents were in the Legion. There was an ambush. Taylor said she'd feed me if I could make myself useful. I'd take care of the animals, run errands, that kind of thing. I guess it could be worse, but I'm sick of sleeping outside with the horses. I want a real home, real parents, not this. Really? Do you have a place? Oh, wow. Really? You mean it? Wow, thanks, Pa. I promise I won't be any trouble at all.
After adopting both children, I took the carriage back to Falkreath so that I could head back home. I finally arrived home quite late, but when I went inside, I was still greeted by Lucia.
It's everything I could have hoped for. I know it's not much, but I found a few pretty things. They're in the chest in my room. If you see anything you like, please, take it. You've done so much for me. It's the least I can do.
Blaise and Isolde were already asleep, so I decided to do the same. After waking up the next morning, I felt as though my family were finally
I think the
complete.
fresh air does wonders for all of us. And this house, it's just perfect.
While the kids were still sleeping, Isolde and I had a lovely breakfast together. Our protagonist, Gregory, has finally accomplished all that he ever dreamed of. He's gone from being a loner who owned only what he could carry on his own back to the proud owner of a home that he built with his own 2 hands. He's become the husband to a loving wife, the father of 2 lovely children, and the owner of a loyal dog. This is Gregory's happily ever after. If you enjoyed this video and/or this series, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. There will be more of this kind of content coming soon. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you next time.